Hey everyone, it's Naomi and welcome to the Firecracker Department Aftershow. This is where we pull some of the core members and some of our Firecracker community members and talk about past podcast episodes. Very excited to talk with these folks today. We've got AJ, who's in Toronto, AJ Edmonds, who's not only a beautiful singer, but she's a talented writer, performer, and she also is the head of our content creation for Firecracker Department and produces the after show. What can she do? Emily Churchill's in Los Angeles, and she is one of the funniest people I know. She just released a short film called Stark Raving Actress. Then I was in and had a ball. She's so funny. And she's also in charge of our wellness department and produces the after show. And now we've got RL Reid, who's all the way in Stratford, Ontario, Canada. She's not only a beautiful musician, she's a writer, a performer. She's a firecracker of all trades. And I'm so happy that you're joining us today. We are talking about Marquesha Babers, and I have to say this is easily one of my favorite chats I've had because I was such a fangirl of hers before talking to her, and then just speaking to her, she just had so much joy and like positivity, and I just wanted to eat her up with a spoon. I just think she's so fantastic. You'll know her from films like Summertime Hecklers, American Street Kid, and her amazing poem that she's done for a while now called That Girl, that will not only move you to tears, it will move you to action because she's so inspiring. Let's talk about my talk with Marquesha. AJ, what did you think?
I feel the same kind of energy as you. I loved this interview. She's so much fun. Like, it just sounded like you were having coffee with a friend and she's just catching you up on the last, 35 years. It's been a while since you'd seen each other.
Yeah.
But I just love, like, she is an artist, like top to bottom, side to side. And like, she just doesn't even know it. Like, that's what I loved when she was talking about it. Like, she talked about how she went through an exceptionally traumatic experience, wrote a poem, and then put it in a journal and left it for 2 years. And then I think it was her great aunt, read it. And then all of a sudden said, no, this is art. What you're creating, other people need to hear.
Yeah.
And it's just such a reminder.
She didn't even
powerful.
know. She's
she
just
had no idea.
A natural artist.
She was like, those are just words sitting over there.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of like totally unprovoked, but survival through art,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh my gosh, such survival. Because she talks about this, but she was homeless for many years. Mm-hmm. And like speaking about how she got through that traumatic time as a kid, like going from living on the street to school and having to like get her laundry done at friends' homes and still succeed. Like, we're such in a place of privilege, all of us, we have so many things that are given to us, and she just persevered. Emily, what did you think?
So many things. I thought so many things. But the one thing that I try to embrace is when she said their opinion is not going to stop me from doing my thing. And I was like, I just got chills. I was like, yeah. So what, they say that I'm not this, that, or the other. I love what I'm doing, and I got other people that love it too, so I'm going to keep going. And I love that she said that because it's so true. It's so true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, why would we ever let somebody else dictate our dreams? That always baffles me when I'm like letting somebody's judgment go, like, stop me from something. I'm like, why would I ever? Nobody knows me better than me. And she has such self-confidence too. It was really, RL, what resonated for you?
So much. I'm so happy that you invited me to see her. She embodies love. She sends light and joy and authenticity. She is a woman who's clearly grounded in herself and her principles and her beliefs. And resilience really struck me with her. The whole pushing forward through everything, through all of the adversity. And for me, like, as an entrepreneur, when I put that hat on, I relate to her because she has got such a strong vision for moving towards her what next, that's what's going to propel her success. It's not about getting away from something. It's about going towards it. And to me, I'm just looking at her going, you can't help but succeed, girl. You're just,
Yeah.
you just
I know.
got it on.
But to
You
that
got it
point,
on.
to that point, she
Yeah,
talks
okay.
about, I think she was referencing her pastor and talking about like, you may not be where you want to be yet, but at least you're not where you used to be. And like acknowledging that journey you've gone on to get where you're standing. Like that's such a great way of looking at it, because we do like in this, I think it might, I don't know if it's a generational thing, but like in our era, it's like, well, I promised myself I'd be here and like, I'm not there yet. And so maybe I just give up and walk away. But then if you look
I
back,
think that happens for everybody. Like, don't you always have the vision, right? The vision of what you're going to be next year, the vision of what you're going to be when you hit this age. And I think that we all have those. So there's always a constant celebration and mourning when we are either not there or are somewhere better. Like it's, it's an amazing thing to go through.
I like how, I like how she lit up when you asked her, so did you always think you were going to be here? You know, or did you have did you imagine that you were going to be where you are now? And she went, well, not exactly, but you saw her just own it, right?
Yeah. And it comes through in the podcast too. Like, I mean, that was a Zoom call because we're in COVID times, but her vibrancy and joy and light, just there's nothing that's going to put that out ever. Right. She's just got incredible strength. Em, something from you?
So many things, right? But the one thing that is sticking in my head, is she 25? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's 25.
Okay. Because
right?
that alone blows my mind, because I'm like, I mean, I'm learning all this stuff and I'm not 25. And I'm like, this girl's 25 and she's talking like she's 42 in the sense of like, not that she looks at it all, but just the sense that she has of herself is like, I've spent a lifetime learning. And when she said she's 25, I'm like, wait, what?
There's such and I think it was Eva Taylor who talked about playing her tiny violin and not being afraid to say, no, I know where I came from and I am going to play that because I deserve to be here. Maybe more than other people because of my journey and because I am here. You know, I am young, but that doesn't mean that I haven't lived 2 lifetimes to stand where I'm at. And in a lot of cases that we take for granted in our community and in being white, that we don't face the same sort of systemic anxiety and there's a lot of resilience needed, regardless of what your sort of economic background is. And you really see that with her. Like she sounds like she's in her 40s. She speaks in a way that she's lived a lot of lifetimes. I'm so excited to see what the journey of her art's going to be, because if she's doing this now in her early 20s, is she going to be doing brain surgery by the time she's 30? You know what I mean? Like grab a scalpel. I'll lie down. I trust her.
One thing also that resonates for me on following, like on the heels of what you're saying, there's no animosity. There is forgiveness, clearly. And she referred to all creatives as a family. So there's no, like, you're over there, I'm here, like she definitely embraces the pool.
Thank you for pointing that out. I love that quality. I mean, and I know it's something that, like Firecracker Department, we're always talking about how, like, no matter if your resume is this long or this long, we're all working together. We're all creating. We're all trying to help each other get to the next creative thing. I'm so happy that you pointed that out.
Well, and also the issue of politics came up.
Oh yeah.
And she wants to stay true to self, and because you even responded to that. I saw you when she said, politics too controlled. It's too controlled. Being an artist, freedom, right?
Right.
So she feels that it's not her arena, I think. Like, doesn't want to offend people or speak out of turn or out of her hat. And so, but she thinks she can still make change without getting into that.
It's funny, right? Because we think about politics as being sort of this like cataclysmic nightmare of of like scary people, and they sit in this, when I actually think that art is but like there's a difference between like politicians and the game of politics and being political. Her art is political. Like this is like, she's not saying something just because she's not standing up, you know, with a Biden or a Sanders shirt on. There is
Sanders, Bernie. Sorry, I get excited.
No, it's okay. But everything we put out, you know, art is a response to environment. It is a response to politics. It is a response to, because politics put you in a position of where you live. Politics put you in a certain school, and they you know, politics frame up how a system thinks about you. So regardless of being a political body, you know, her art is exceptionally like just filled with like social politics. She's a miracle, as she owns. She really is. Her art is such a miracle for us.
Agreed. Any final thoughts from you, Emily or RL, before we wrap up?
I think my final thought is that I loved, and I think we all need to embrace it, especially the situation that we're in, is to focus on one thing that you love to do. Because now
that was a good one.
That we can focus. Well, I mean, some of us were like, I'm busier than I've ever been. I don't understand what's happening. And don't be afraid, right? Like if you're not, that's okay. Sink into it. Take a salt bath. If you can fit in a tub. I can't fit in my tub, so it's fun. But if we can all just focus on one thing that you love to do, it's going to propel you on your journey to get where you're wanting to go. And so I think that's really important.
Yeah. And it'll feed the other things. Like, don't do the things that like that make you grumpy. I mean, we all have to do dishes. That doesn't make me thrilled. But I mean, like, do something that's going to give you momentum to the next thing. I think that was such a good point she made. I loved that. How about you, RL? Any final thoughts?
Putting trust in a poet. Great place to put trust. These are the people that have insights that are able to express them in a way that not the average person can. And I say, with dimples like that, she's got it all going on. And dimples.
She's gorgeous too. Yeah. Speaking of having it going on, boom, segue. Hey, what have you got going on? AJ, what's going on in your world that we can support and celebrate?
I'm editing videos for a motorsports karting center, which is something I never thought I would say out loud, but you know, working in motorsports. Who knew?
I love it.
Also, like, one of the most beautiful editors I've ever seen the work of. So if they can use it over in motorsports for the beauty of motorsports.
Making them look pretty.
Yeah. All right, what's going on in your world that we can support and celebrate?
Well, I'm recording with a new band. We have never actually met each other. This is a 7-man project, and I'm the new front woman. And I'm having to re-record vocal tracks that were already laid down in December. So it's kind of tricky when a lot of them are up at their cottages in Northern Ontario, and they're sending their tracks to the engineer. I'm actually able to go in studio, so I have a bit of an advantage in that way. But recording with guys that I've never met, or performed with, or rehearsed with.
Yeah, 2020.
Put the cart before the horse. So we've squeaked out one recording so far as a single release, but the rest of it's coming.
Amazing.
Can't wait. Emily, what about you?
I mean, speaking of voices, I got my voiceover rep and doing voiceover stuff now, so that's good, knock on wood. And that's that's the equipment Babe puts together for me. And it's like, here you go, Babe, go do it. And I'm like, okay. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Babe's her husband.
Oh, yes, sorry.
She's not trained a pig to do those things. But if you had, it would be super entertaining. Fantastic. And as always, Firecracker Department has so much going on, and we'd always, always love you to participate and include yourself in the community. As we say, the Firecracker table is long with many leaves, and there's always a chair for you. So go to firecrackerdepartment.com, subscribe to the newsletter to keep up to date. And, there's always ways of supporting. If you like what you're seeing in Firecracker World, then there's ways to support. You can give us a shout out on the podcast or on the Instagram, or just tell one person that you heard a fun podcast. If you didn't like it, just keep it to yourself. No one likes a whiner. Thanks, everybody. This has been super fun. I love having you here, RL. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you all next time on the Firecracker Department After Show. Bye.
People only see me as that girl. That fat girl, just a little too black girl, always sitting in the back girl. That girl. People tell me, you're weak, girl. No one wants to hear you speak, girl. Look at me. I'm not at your feet, girl. Stop crying, girl. It's not like you're dying, girl. No one will like you for who you are. And your career definitely won't go far. Not with that hair, those clothes, those shoes. You really need to change all of you, girl. Sometimes I tell myself, depression ain't cute, girl. And you should stop waiting and do what you have to do, girl. I mean, if you're going to end it, then do it already, girl. Just make sure you keep your hands steady, girl. You want to get it right, girl. Just wait till night, girl. Then get the knife, girl. It only takes one slice, girl. Look at you. Too weak to take your own life, girl. But God told me, aren't you tired of waiting to die, girl? All you have to do is try, girl. I gave you life to live, girl. I gave you your gift to give, girl. I am always here, girl. It's okay to shed a tear, girl. Just don't fear, girl. Because you are that girl, made strong enough to carry the world on your back, girl. So stand up straight, girl. You will be great, girl. It is your fate, girl. Don't worry about the past. Remember, who is first shall be last. So you've endured the worst, girl. Now it's your turn to be first, girl. Then God held out his hands. He said, take this, girl. Don't waste it, girl. You'll know when to use it, girl. It's a miracle, girl. Like you are a miracle, girl.